Hello folks, another tool lesson for you today. We're doing Stinkfist, which was voted for by all these lovely lot over at Patron. The last one went down incredibly well, so we may have to do a few more of these. We're in drop D. So your low E needs to go down to match your D string, right? So it goes down by like 2 frets worth, or a step, or 2 half steps. So that's your tuning. You want a distortion pedal, not tons of dirt. I'm using the dirt with these settings. You know, you don't want it too muddy. Now for parts of this, there's delay and flanger as well, right? For flanger, I'm using the Walrus Audio Polychrome. It adds a sort of chorusy effect, which I think is what he tends to use rather than chorus. He uses this flanger with clean tone. Listen. Yeah, it sounds more chorusy, doesn't it? So I've got these settings. If you've got one with a blend control, that's really going to help to not get it too crazy. I mean, rate and depth around sort of 10 to 12, I'd say. Over the top of that, we've got this. It's the delay, and it's roughly 550 milliseconds, right? I think it's 548 I've got it set to. So that sounds like this altogether. You know, they just sort of fatten the tone and blend in a bit. But when you get to this part, you hear the repeats a little bit more there, right? So let's dive in with the first riff. It's just 4 bars. It goes like this. I'll take the flanger and the delay off. So we have... Now on the album, I think live, he does start with a bend. But on the studio album, the very first one, there's no bend. It's just... Okay? And then you're going to do... that, okay? So it's... just a quick half step bend. And then you hit the 2nd fret again. Then you do another one. Then you do a full bend. Okay, so up a tone. And you still hit that 5th fret there on the A string, okay? So that's the first 2 bars. Then you're going to play... which is a repeat of what you just played, except you do on the first measure rather than... Now, the very last measure, I've got a palm mute on that. So we've got... So you can palm mute that if you wish. The next part is cool. I'll put the delay back on. And 2 bars worth of this. Like that, right? You do that 3 times, and then the 4th repeat branches off a bit because you've got some open strings going on. So I'm going to turn the delay off again so you can hear what I'm playing. So that would be slowly. Those 3 open strings there. Then you're going to do 1-finger power chord stuff. Alternate between this. And then you do open. Okay, so the phrase is 3, 4. Like that. Just follow the tab, right? So the last phrase has a little up down bit at the end. into that riff, okay? So that's how it transitions, okay? This next part's cool. It's like 3 bars of 6/4 and a bar of 7/4, and we go back into 4/4. It's Tool, you know, we've got to have some weirdness. So we have... and it's more covering the strings with your hand rather than, you know, chugs. So it's 2, 2, 10, 10, 0, 0, 0, and then 2, 3. Just be careful where you mute that, because you don't want stuff ringing out. So avoid, you know, the frets. Get right in between the frets. You're unlikely to get some harmonics ringing out. So again, okay. Then the next 2 times there's a bit of an incidental whack in between when you move from the 2nd fret to the 10th. I'm being really picky here. You could just play, but this is what I hear on the album version, so I thought I'd put it in. So you have... just changes the phrasing ever so slightly. You know, it's more da da den, but there's, you know, a whack on that 3rd strum. And then the last bar just goes, and that rings out. Another one of these. Bit easier, right? So I won't go back over that, because that's the same as before, but I'll put the delay on for this bit. So we go. Got that going on, okay? So it's pretty straightforward. You can follow the tab there because it's just, you know, it's just 2 beats for each note there, right? And you transfer back into, you know, so you do 3 times of that, okay, 3 of those, and then you go full step bend there, like that. I think the I think the delay comes off because you're going to go back into this. Yeah, same part again. We're going to repeat all that stuff. Subtle difference there is that you hammer on to the 5th fret. Then there's this kind of turnaround riff. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 1 figure. Bit bluesy, right? And then you kind of play that with the 1 finger. You kind of abandon the low string and have a little, it's almost a quarter note. No, I don't think it's a half step. You know, bend and release there. Then there's basically just some pick strokes. know, you do a bunch of those. I think there might be some delay with that. Which sounds cool. And for the next part, I think you want the delay and the flange on. I think he actually plays it up here. I've tabbed. You know, that there, but I think he plays it here. So you can either play it there, that's the 17th fret and the 14th fret, or the 12th fret and the 9th fret, up to you. Then we've got a couple of whacks there. So then you're going to play 2 bars worth. Like that. But then you're going to go 14th fret, 10th fret. And there's like a sort of tremolo picking bit, I think. Alright, like that. And then you go back down. Let me take the those effects off for just a second. So you'd have 2 bars of this. Yeah. 3, 4, then like that, and then back down. So that last bar. And you got that twice more of those again, basically. Okay, then we've got some palm muty stuff, which goes. Okay, so we've got bit of a gallop, right? On that open string. And then there's a build up for 1 bar. Got that going on, so it's. You could put some. So you could put in some artificial harmonics if you like. The next riff's great. You're playing up on the 14th fret up here. 1 finger power chord stuff again. So we have. So that's just the same part repeated twice. Then you move to this part. And then back around. So, that slowly. Let me clean it up properly so you can hear it. So. Okay, so down, up, down, add 3rd finger on the 16th fret. Take it off again and play down, up, down, down when you take your finger off. And then the rhythm changes slightly. We go down, up, down, down. And there's like a, it's roughly a slide from here and a slide from down here somewhere. Okay, all together to speed. 3, 4. Like that. So round twice. Next riff then goes, we're down on the 10th fret here. Goes like that, okay? So you've got. Again, let me play it clean. Then we've got a 1 finger power chord on the 2nd fret playing. So it's down, up, down, down, up, down, down, down. And then back up, okay? third time though, bit of a variance. We're going to go to this chord. And it goes into some weird strumming, which is super difficult to hear, and it's in 6/4 as well. So we go... Okay, so 7th fret there. But this bar then goes roughly, I wouldn't be too prescriptive here, but we have... that. Okay, so that's what I'm playing. And this starts a little 4/4 6/4 interplay. Subtle variation on the rhythm here is you got that going on. Okay, so it's all right, and then we go into this riff, right? It's something like this. You know, because you've got some stabs going on. There is an overdub as well playing those sort of stuff. But I would do this. So you go 1, 2, 3, let that ring out, and then play 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, for that first part. Then you do a really accented, you know, strum, full strum, right? So we'd have... And then you're just playing down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up for the last 3 times, okay? Back into this again. I think here the distortion comes on again, right? So we have... The second half of this next riff is a tricky phrasing, I think, anyway. I can't get it in my head. But... I've tabbed it anyway. The first part's cool. It's just some one finger power chord action down here. So we have... And you go up to the 5th fret, okay? So that first part, stick with that. That's that, right? Then you go up to the 5th fret. But then you're going to do quite a big double power chord, really, because you've got double power chord. So we have for the first part though, you just play the, I'd say the low 4 strings. Then you do hear quite a fuller chord there. So I would do like that. So it's down, down, up. Then you hit it again and slide. Okay. But the phrasing's odd. So we have... So it's... Okay. So that. So you go around that twice, then another 3 times in this 6/4 riff. You already know this one. So you do that 3 times, and the 4th time is a bar 7/4. That just goes into some feedback and it fades out. And that, folks, is it. Hope you enjoyed that one. See you again soon.